Hey guys, today we'll be talking about marijuana and its impact on the day-to-day life of the Michigan State University student and how it affects their grades, social life, and just their well-being and health as a whole. I think we all know what marijuana is, also known as weed. But just in case you don't, the picture on the left is marijuana, and it is a plant that produces a chemical on its buds called THC that, when activated and consumed, can give the person consuming it a body high with psychoactive effects. The prevalence of marijuana has been increasing at a super high rate because it is slowly becoming legalized state by state. The picture of the legalized states shown is out of date because after voting last November, it has been legalized in a few more states, now including Michigan, for recreational use. Marijuana has always been a prevalent drug in the U.S., but it has been frowned upon and considered to be it's not considered to be a social norm like it is today. It is still listed as a Schedule 1 drug by the FDA next to heroin and crack cocaine, which might be a poor categorization of it as of modern day research. With it being more prevalent, students are using it more and more. The University Record has an article called Marijuana Use Among College Students at its Highest Level in 30 Years, and in the article it states that when surveying students, 22% of them have used marijuana in the last 30 days. Currently, if you have a med card on campus and can smoke marijuana, you can't do it on campus anywhere. There are many ways to consume THC and different types of marijuana, known as strains, that can give the users a different type of high. For example, marijuana is categorized into two categories, indica and sativa, and hybrids, which are a mix of both, which can have different effects when consumed. Indicas can give you a more tired high and can increase your appetite. Sativas give you more of a psychoactive high. It can make you more creative and energetic. In the picture in the top left is THC wax. It is created by pressing dried marijuana buds with a hydraulic press, and an oil is released. Using this oil, it can be concentrated into a wax that can be vaporized and smoked. Because of how concentrated it is, it can create a really intense high. To the right of the wax is a picture of marijuana buds. They are buds that are grown off the plant and they're dried to be smoked. The most popular way to smoke buds is either with a bong, pipe, joints, or blunts. On the bottom left is an edible brownie. Basically, anything can have a medicated version of it. You can't eat marijuana buds and expect to get high. You first need to activate the THC by decarboxylating it and mixing it with butter because it is fat soluble to create a marijuana infused butter. The butter can be used in any recipe instead of normal butter to make it THC infused. Be wary of edibles because they can create a very intense high if not dosed properly. To the right of the brownie is THC syrup. The syrup is made by creating a simple syrup, and while it is boiling, adding marijuana buds again to decarboxylate it and activate the THC. Next, the cheesecloth is used to remove the buds from the syrup, and flavoring can be added, so it can be bought in a plethora of different flavors and doses. It can be added to various drinks to infuse it with THC, or it can be added to something as simple as like pancakes to infuse it with THC and get high from eating pancakes.
So, on campus, chances are that you've either seen, smelled, or been offered marijuana. So, being on campus and hanging out with other students, you may have seen or been offered some sort of marijuana product. Peer pressure is when you want to feel part of something, but you act in a different way. If you're doing something you wouldn't normally do, or you're doing something that you'd like to do, simply so that you'll be accepted by the people you want to hang out with, that means you're suffering from peer pressure. I've personally experienced peer pressure myself. I've been peer pressured, but then I've also peer pressured other people. You don't notice when you're doing it, but it's sort of just, I feel like it just happens. If you're doing something somebody else isn't, like either your whole group of friends is smoking weed and one person's not, and everybody's like, yeah, bro, just try it. Or like it can be either like, it can be somewhat aggressive sometimes, but most of the time it's usually just chill asking, hey, would you like to try this or something like that, and out of like you don't want to be left out. That's a big part, is you don't want to be left out. That's,
In Michigan, over the last 30 years, marijuana use is at its highest level. It is indicated that 39% of all college students aged 19 to 22 had smoked weed in the last 12 months. In a statement made by John Schulenberg, he said, "We know from our research and that of others that heavy marijuana use is associated with poor academic performance and non-completion of college." Colleges are not simply inheriting this problem from high schools. Marijuana use has remained steady in recent years among the nation's high school seniors, so this increase among college students suggests it has something to do with college and young adulthood experiences. He goes on to say that one of the main reasons marijuana use is increasing is due to the decline in awareness of risk and harm regular marijuana users have. Although the state of Michigan passed the Proposal 1 making possession of marijuana legal, it remains illegal to be in possession on campus. Since the majority of students off campus are over the legal age of 21, it makes it easier for them to obtain weed for personal use. The problem with this is that since it is legalized here, there have been many legal ways of purchasing marijuana, and MSU as a community needs to be more aware of this effect that short-term and long-term use has on schoolwork and students' personal health. Students, when considering consuming marijuana, like alcohol or any drug, should consider the impact it will have on their social life, academic career, and personal health. Marijuana is also considered to be a gateway drug, which means that it can lead to consumption of other drugs that they wouldn't have before because they think they are now more experienced and want to try something new. College students and adults should be able to make their own decisions, but also should consider the consequences of their actions. Given the laws are changing and weed is becoming legal in some states, while it remains illegal in others is important. Just because marijuana is legal does not mean it is safe to consume. That goes along with daily consumption, while the brain is underdeveloped. Smoking weed while the brain is underdeveloped can and most likely will cause memory loss and the inability to retain newly presented information.
Marijuana smokers of all ages are at higher risk for developing respiratory diseases such as bronchitis and emphysema. College students who are still in developmental stages also face delays in sexual development and a decrease in sperm production. Pot smoking can disrupt menstrual cycles and lead to a decrease in ovulation. Marijuana use damages the immune system, leaving students at a higher risk of developing an infection and having slower healing rates from common illnesses like the cold or flu. University students are generally under the age of 25. An article on APA.org called "Marijuana and the Developmental Brain" can be summarized by saying university students' brains are not fully developed. Because of this, marijuana can stunt the growth of new neurological connections, making it harder for them to remember new information and can lead to poor processing information. The article goes on to say that in 2013, Riquio Martin Santos, MD, PhD at the University of Barcelona, and colleagues reviewed 43 studies of chronic cannabis use and the brain. They found consistent evidence of both structural brain abnormalities and altered neural activity in marijuana users.
There are many different signs to look out for if you are starting to get concerned with someone you love or care for and their use of marijuana. When someone is smoking large amounts of marijuana regularly, a lot of things in their life can change drastically. Drugabuse.gov has evidence that shows that those who smoke on a regular basis tend to do worse in school and have less ambition to complete anything. Another sign to pay attention to is if someone you know is replacing their regular scheduled activities to hang out and get high, then oftentimes it can become a problem. If you know someone who is slacking with their important responsibilities and consistently failing to see them through because of dependency on smoking marijuana, then that is a sign to reach out to them and encourage them to get help. Another example of someone who might need help is if the excess drug use is not only starting to affect the person consuming it, but is also affecting the people around them and who are in their lives. One major sign that this is happening is if you can't stop yourself from using the drug, even if you want to. That being said, marijuana is not chemically addictive, but it is psychologically addictive, so it can be difficult to stop using it.